Quit!
He threw down his list and then stomped out the door. He walked out until they could see him no more. The workers were stunned.
Okay, so. I don't need you. I don't need you. No, I don't. Not at all. But hey, this is going to be We Got to Web. Meaning, not webtoons, even though. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me just put that out there. Okay. We gotta get webby. And by webby, I think you know what I mean. Yes, I'm not wearing the shirt, but it is hot in here. I mean, I don't have any like whatchamacallit on me right now, Spider-Man gear, but I do have some Spider-Man stuff. So yeah. But before I do Spider-Man, there is a movie I wanted to know about, and it's called Begonias. So we're gonna do begonias first before we actually do anything else. So please bear with me. I am trying my best. Okay. We're gonna do begonias first, only for YouTube. Other than that, we're gonna figure everything else because we're gonna have a marathon of Spider-Man, and we're gonna do the animated series Spider-Man. There are 5 seasons in Spider-Man, and we're going to watch them. Trust me. Am doing my best, and here we go. I am doing my best, and here we. Alright, I'm sorry. Alright, let's watch some begonias. Oh yeah, no, I had this up already. I hope you know that. I want you to know that I already had this up because I've been wanting to watch this. So, get prepared, get ready. Here we go. If you're moving steady, then you should know. If you could smell what the Rock is cooking. He's cooking at 945 degrees. Fahrenheit, not Celsius. If you know me, I'm like Felfius. If you don't know me, I'm like Pelpius. I'm like Palpatine, I'm like Elpia. If you don't know me, I'm a king. If you don't know me, I'm a scene. John Cena. You can't see me. Looking like a peanut. If you know I got the jeans. If you know I got the cane. Oh, wait, hold up. I have lied to you. I do have spider memorabilia. Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Spider Week. Yeah. Alright. People who don't know, say hello to YouTube. People who are on YouTube, say hello to my Twitch channel. I should link this in the description and below, but I'm probably gonna forget. All because I have a memory of a squirrel. They call me the Boogie Bagger. I hope you know who I am. I am here to stay. My name is. What you see is me. Let's get this show on the road. MC. For the ones I know. But my name is BB. Hey. Alright, let's go. I'm sorry. Let's get this.
Lot to say about our world today and where we're headed, but did you know it's actually a remake of a South Korean movie from 2003?
No, but now we know. South Korea, let's go.
Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Mad Morph. This is my movie
Hello,
club where I
Mad.
talk about movies and TV that I like, so go ahead and hit that like and subscribe for more like this. Find more of me at the links in the description for this video, including my podcast where I read audiobooks to help you sleep and my gaming channel. And let's begin. Begonia Explained.
I have a game.
To understand this movie, we have to go back to the beginning. The movie opens with images of honeybees landing on flowers. The act of pollination is being described by Teddy, who's played by Jesse Plemons. Notably, he says it's like sex, but cleaner, and nobody gets hurt. The movie is called Begonia, which is a type of flower, but it's actually spelt differently to the title of this movie. I'll explain why.
How do you spell
There are two
begonias?
main characters, and it's revealed that the bees you've been watching are in hives in their garden. Teddy is played by Jesse Plemons, and Don is played by Aidan Delbis, who's autistic. He auditioned for the role Off of the Street, which specifically wanted a neurodivergent actor. Teddy continues to explain to Don that a third of our food is pollinated this way, but the bees are dying because of CCD. This stands for colony collapse disorder, which is when the worker bees all leave and the queen and the nurse bees are left behind and the colony collapses. It's true that honeybees actually perform some form of pollination on nearly 75% of all plant species that are used for human food worldwide. Teddy claims to his cousin that he's found out the real reason why this is happening. That he's been studying and found out they have been here all along, poisoning us, choking us, controlling us, that we are not steering the ship, they are, and we have to stop them. His idea of who they and them might be is Michelle, played by Emma Stone. She is the rich CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and we watch as their morning routines continue and play out. Teddy claims he can tell them apart from us, and Don questions if he can actually do this. Teddy gives him a big hug and tells him that he loves him. He says he won't let anyone ever hurt him, but in the next scene, he convinces Don to chemically castrate himself to keep their minds clear of psychic compulsions that could be used to get an advantage over them. This is kind of symbolic of a rising online culture of men engaging in no sexual activity. It's called no fap or no nut, which is...
Excuse the fuck out of me. No, fuck that. I say hell no. If any of these motherfuckers even think about that shit. No. Hell no. No. Fuck no. Fuck no. Hell. Why would anybody want to do that first? Why the fuck would you want to? I mean, yeah. No. Fuck no. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck it. Continue. I'm about to say continue, but I'm like, no, still bad, no. It's just bad touch.
Fitting since we're in November. Some men believe they get physical, emotional, or even spiritual benefits from not engaging in these acts. While these claims are said to be mostly anecdotal and lack scientific evidence, the movement has gained popularity. It is one of many examples of the online sphere having an impact on Teddy and how that's playing out in his real life. Teddy tells Don they'll be free if they do this. We get the title screen, and the very first scene is Michelle recording a corporate diversity training video for hiring more diverse engineers and doctors. Before we see her driving home in a big car singing Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan, which Emma Stone actually suggested for the movie and pushed for. But laying in wait at home are Teddy and Don wearing cutout masks of Jennifer Aniston's face because the director is a fan of hers and of Friends. Jennifer Aniston is understood to have given her blessing for the use of the masks in the movie.
She did?
After a brief struggle where it actually looks like Michelle is going to beat them both up, she's injected with a tranquilizer and passes out. We then get a scene of Don shaving Michelle's head in the back of the car as they drive home. She's unconscious, and Teddy says that they can track and GPS her through her hair.
What?
This was actually Emma Stone getting her head shaved in this scene. They filmed it happening just for this movie.
What the fuck?
In a show of solidarity, the director actually let Emma Stone shave his head right before they filmed this scene.
Okay, good, because she had to get her a clap back, because, like, you ain't shaving my head. If I'm getting my head shaved, you getting your head shaved. This is an equal opportunity to fuck around and find out. I'm just playing that right now, but okay, here we go.
They get her down into the basement and cover her in antihistamine cream, which Teddy says will weaken its nervous system to even the playing field. And when Michelle wakes up, Teddy tells her, "We cut your hair to stop you contacting your mothership." He accuses her of being a high-ranking official in a royal Andromedan court. That she has aided her species in the techno-enslavement of planet Earth, and Teddy and Don need to be taken to the mothership on the night of the lunar eclipse so that they can sit down with her royal superiors. Teddy thinks that Michelle is an alien from Andromeda, which is the closest galaxy to ours, the Milky Way. Michelle says, "I'm not an alien," but Teddy claims he's done thermal imaging on her face and that Andromedan code is all over her Instagram. Before he accuses her of killing his family, his community, his co-workers, and the bees. He leaves her with a tape recorder to record her statement to give to the Emperor. He thinks the lunar eclipse is the only time the mothership can remain undetected and will return. They need to make contact to fight for the self-worth of humanity and petition to the leaders to not do away with them.
Holy fucking ads.
When the world gave them setbacks, science gave them bounce backs. And when your vet delivered life-altering news,
That is a cute.
There's then this
Okay,
lovely
okay.
moment where Don turns to Teddy and just says, "I wish I could fix everything that's been done to you." And Teddy says, "It's not about me, it's about everyone else."
What?
He does this a lot through the movie where he says, "It's not about me, it's not about XYZ, it's about something else." At one point he says it's about Don and protecting him. At other times he says it's about saving the earth. At other times he says it's about the bees or saving humanity. There's a lot of projection and deflection and reasons going on here. And you start to understand.
So this motherfucker just crazy. That's all I understand. This motherfucker just fucking crazy. He's... Yeah, no. Yeah, fucking crazy.
Why when we get a symbolic flashback of Teddy and his mother played by Alicia Silverstone. Side note, did anyone else have a massive crush growing up on Alicia Silverstone when she was Batgirl? Teddy's mum is in the bathtub. Anyone else have a massive crush growing up on Alicia Silverstone when she was Batgirl? Teddy's mum...
Huh? Wait. Who? 1 second. Gotta go back. Gotta hear that one more time.
Side note, did anyone else have a massive crush growing up on Alicia Silverstone when she was Batgirl? Teddy's mum is in the bathtub with giant needles sticking out of her as Teddy slowly removes them. His mother is saying she knows there is stuff hidden in the poison that they give her, that it is reprogramming her cells and blood. And we get our first sort of chapter screen showing the Earth with a crack in it, and it's 3 days before the lunar eclipse. Teddy goes to work on his bike, but he's pulled over by the police. Turns out the policeman is his old babysitter wanting to check on him and ask if he's okay. Says it's been a while. Says, "I know I wasn't the best babysitter, but I think about you sometimes. Not in a weird way, but if you ever need any help, feel free to ask me." Teddy...
That man must have been a pedo. Pito-tail. No. That is a no-no. That's a big-ass no-no.
He gets to work, and he actually works for Michelle's company, or at least a subsidiary of it, as a delivery box packer. His co-worker talks about how she got injured at work by the machines, but is having to continue to make quota. It's very reminiscent and a nod to the plight of Amazon workers and the types of conditions and guidelines that they and others are forced to work to under corporations. We're back in the basement, and Teddy listens to the recorded message, but isn't very happy with it since she didn't even record it in her alien language. Michelle tries to diagnose Teddy, saying, "I think you're in an echo chamber, consuming content on the internet, reinforcing your warped subjective idea of reality. I am not an alien." She then calls him mentally ill, and he slaps her across the face. He then says, ominously, "Everybody denies it at first, then they confess."
What?
We listen as Teddy tells his cousin that they're standing on the shoulders of giants, and he references YouTubers and video essays that he's watched as research that led him to his own findings, showing off his own rendering of the mothership for the aliens to his cousin. He reminds cousin Don of the plan, to leave with Michelle to the mothership for just a few hours to tell the aliens that the humans and the Earth have much to offer, that things can be so much better than they are right now on the planet, and to leave humanity alone. But if they don't listen to reason, he has a plan for that too. He doesn't actually reveal what this other plan is, but we do find out.
What?
Don says he feels kind of weird and crazy and sometimes sad since he had the chemical castration. Which, when you Google it, it's actually a known side effect of that treatment, and it's kind of sad and symbolic of how he's done this to his cousin. The very thing that he accuses the corporations and the aliens of doing, he did to him himself. It's then 2 days till the lunar eclipse, and Michelle changes her tactic. She confesses to being an alien and tells Teddy he's right. But it's seemingly too late for Teddy, who says they have to do a test to prove it. She is strapped up and electroshocked at increasingly higher and higher levels, while Don becomes more and more uncomfortable at what's going on. It's actually a super dark and kind of uncomfortable scene. You don't see a lot, but you can just hear Emma Stone screaming for her life. To me, it speaks to the lengths and the actions that some people can actually go to when they get certain beliefs stuck in their head, when they feel they're acting righteously or with a just cause. And eventually, Don has had enough and he pulls the plug, cutting the machine off. Teddy says the readings are off the charts. It's never reached that output before, to which Don exclaims, "Before?" Making you question if this is really the first time that Teddy has done this. But after the test, Teddy changes how he treats Michelle entirely. He starts to untie her, cleans her up, and apologizes, saying that it's clear from the voltage that she has the royal genetic code, and starts calling her Your Majesty.
What?
He believes that she is part of this royal alien family. We get another flashback, and this time it's Michelle apologizing to young Teddy for what happened to his mother, that they'll pay for all of the victim's care going forward. It's clear that her company put out a bad product, which has led to some complications for lots of people, including Teddy's family. It's one day before the lunar eclipse, and the title cards reveal that the world is flat. We can still see the crack in the top. Michelle is then treated to a spaghetti dinner, all while chained to the chair while sitting at the dinner table. We also see her clean herself up and look through some of the clothes and see the name Sandy G inside the label. At dinner, she asks Teddy, "Tell me more about your movement, what you're doing." He says, "It's not a movement. A movement is many people. I did this all on my own." Claiming that 99% of activism is actually just personal exhibitionism and brand maintenance in disguise, that for the last 5 years he's tried every political movement, both on the left and on the right, and that none of them worked out for him. Michelle notices he keeps bees and says they're magnificent creatures, Earth's most admirable creation. So Teddy asks her, "What do you admire about bees?" And she says their society, their work ethic, that they do their duty and build worlds without complaint, piety, or self-obsession, which Teddy takes as you like them because it makes them easy to manipulate and control. She says she just likes their resolve in the face of peril, which incenses him, and he accuses her of being responsible for the CCD, the colony collapse disorder of the bees. She fires back that his research is out of date, that bees are actually coming back. And there's a really important line here where she says, "I know you want there to be a master plan. You want the bees to be dying so it can be my fault, and you don't have to think about the real reasons that species die. Immunodeficiencies, changing habitats, genetic factors, or sometimes a species just winds down. Maybe they intuit the futility of the entire enterprise." She then brings up the name Sandy Gatz, which is Teddy's mother, and Teddy says, "This is not about that." It's revealed through this conversation that Sandy, his mum, was on opioid withdrawal medicine that had complications for a number of people. This clues us in to the fact that Teddy's mother was in fact an addict, and that's when she was receiving treatment, which is an interesting little twist since the typical line in a movie like this would put someone in suffering from cancer or treatment for some other terminal illness. But this puts another layer of story onto the character of Teddy and his family dynamic. It tells you more about Teddy's childhood, his home life, and mainly that it was probably not a good or happy one. But as Michelle keeps pushing and offering to help his mother, Teddy gets more agitated until he scrambles down the length of the dinner table and starts to strangle her. She actually stabs him with a fork and gets the upper hand, and then Don knocks her out with the butt of a shotgun. And at the same time, the policeman pulls up outside. So Don keeps an eye on Michelle in the basement whilst Teddy lets in his old babysitter who's asking about the missing CEO, Michelle. They sit down, and then the police officer confesses to him saying, "I know it was a long time ago what I did to you. It was wrong. It was not because I liked it. It's probably..."
I knew this motherfucker was a pervert. He looks like a... Look at his fat little fucking face, little fucking pervert. I had a feeling. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah. Little motherfucker pervert. What the fuck am I doing?
Some weird power
I got a
thing.
Spider-Man
I never did it
marathon
to
to go
anybody
through.
else, I promise.
This is the first
And
thing I
Teddy
wanted to
just
watch.
keeps telling him, "Don't worry, it's done, it's fine," but he doesn't look fine. There's some fantastic acting here from Jesse Plemons. Again, in just a few lines, it clues us into the character of the police officer and of Teddy, that 20 years ago as a babysitter he abused his power dynamic to abuse Teddy. But Teddy just says, "Do you want to see my bees?" and they go outside.
Motherfucker,
It
what?
adds another tragic layer to Teddy's backstory. Meanwhile, in the basement, Michelle is trying to convince Don to let her go, and he eventually says, "If you are an alien, will you help me? Take me with you." And while she tries to deny it again at first, she then just plays along and says, "Yes, fine, I'll take you with me if you let me go." At first, Don says he won't leave without Teddy, which is really sweet, but she says they don't have time. So he does this big sigh, he agrees and says, "Okay, I'm ready to leave. Tell Teddy I'm sorry and that I loved him." And then in an instant he uses the shotgun to make it, and I say this for the filters here, his own interpretation of leaving for the mothership. And the police officer hears this happening from outside, so Teddy throws bees on him and does him away with a shovel. It's this really interesting moment emotionally because you have the sadness of sweetheart Don doing that and the disgusting babysitter getting what he no doubt deserves. So when Teddy comes back and he finds Don in the shape that he's in, he says, "What filth did you fill his brain with?" The irony is that Teddy is actually the one that was filling Don's head with rubbish. He's angry and he's ready to do away with Michelle, and she just says, "There is a cure for your mother." She confesses and says they were rearranging her genetic code. She was part of an Andromedan experiment that actually takes 4 to 5 years, but we can wake her up. She then says that in the trunk of her car, hidden in a bottle of antifreeze, is the cure, that he needs to give it to his mother. And somehow this works. Teddy's desperate, so he just injures the kneecap of Michelle, and he leaves, rides to the hospital, puts antifreeze into his mother's IV, thinking it will save her, and she dies. But while he is away doing that, Michelle actually gets loose with keys from Don's pocket, but she doesn't escape. She snoops around and finds something truly horrific. At the back of the basement, she finds a secret room filled with sample jars with parts of people marked as specimens, all kinds of photos and research of Teddy's experiments. He's had a number of people down here and been doing all sorts of things to their bodies in the basement. Remember earlier when he said he'd never seen readings like this before? It's not his first rodeo. When Teddy gets back, you would think that Michelle had escaped, but she's there, waiting for him. And immediately she says, "How many were Andromedans?" He says, 2. She says, "You miserable idiot, do you know what you've done?" And she then confesses. She claims that their 75th emperor discovered the Earth back when it was ruled by dinosaurs, that they accidentally spread a virus to them, and...
Wait. Is she... Oh, now I'm confused. Is she part of the problem? Or is she the problem? Is he the... I know he's the problem. He's killing humans, probably. Why would this be the first thing I would want to watch? How much money am I gonna left? Okay, this is gonna be for YouTube. This right here. Okay, let's go.
This made the Emperor feel so guilty that he started new life on Earth. That humans were created in the image of the Andromedans, including ancient civilizations like Atlantis that were meant to live in harmony with nature. But some of the humans wanted to surpass the Andromedans and grew new humans in labs. And that when they did this, they added new genes to the humans to make them stronger, and it made them more aggressive. It ended in nuclear war, which only a select few humans survived in an ark which sailed on the oceans for over a century. By the time it was safe, the leaders of that ark had died, and it left only a few mutant semi-human apes behind who evolved into the modern-day humans. She says that since then you've brutalized the Earth with war and ecological damage, and that you show no signs of stopping. That the longer she has stayed here, it's made her selfish and cruel. That the Andromedan goal is to save humanity and save the Earth by eliminating that hidden gene which is inside humans from the lab tests. That they didn't come here to kill us, but to correct us. That the mother was part of the test, and they were conducting experiments to rewrite the human genome. Just like his mum said in the vision in the bathtub. Teddy says, "You killed her though," to which Michelle says, "No."
It's time to ask more of our browser. Hey Copilot, adjust all these recipes for 7 guests and combine them into one cooking schedule.
You did. Revealing that her plan was actually for Teddy to get caught before it happened. She says, "You actually got away with it, you sick ape," which might be my favorite line in the entire movie. She says that Teddy has to come with her to tell the Emperor their findings on the night of the lunar eclipse, and we get the title screen and see that the Earth is fully flat. They go to Michelle's work and to her office, and she says this is the place to transport up to the mothership. Her staff are clearly concerned, and we can assume that they call the police. She takes a calculator out of a special-looking box and says she has to put in a 58-digit code to create a link to the mothership. At this point, it is thrillingly unclear whether this is a ridiculous play and a ploy to get Teddy caught and to play for time, or if Michelle is actually an alien as she tries to remember the 58-digit code. She asks if Teddy's ready to go, and he says that he is, and tells her, "Just so you know, I've planned for all eventualities," and reveals that he has a bomb. So Michelle directs him to go into a closet, that it's secretly a teleporter. They have to go separately so they don't mix together. He closes the door. She backs up and counts down 3, 2, 1, and Teddy explodes. His head flies out of the closet and knocks Michelle out. Oh dear. She wakes up in an ambulance and escapes out of the back, limping and hobbling her way down the street back to her office, and it's now nighttime. We look up at the moon and the lunar eclipse is almost here. She goes into the blood-stained closet with the calculator in hand, and whoosh, she emerges out of liquid inside an alien spaceship. She is welcomed by aliens all with long hair, and the ship looks exactly like Teddy imagined it. It is revealed that Michelle is actually the emperor of the aliens, and she even confirms that them cutting off her hair meant that she couldn't contact for help. The aliens actually talk in their own language, and you have subtitles on the screen, and they refer to themselves as we. This shows how much of a collective they are. Like they said, they created humans to live in harmony with nature, but we haven't done that. Whilst the aliens live a life like we live a life of I and me. The other aliens on the ship let Michelle know that only 2 of the test subjects remain and that all of the experiments have failed. It is time to make a decision. Michelle, the Emperor, says, "We believe it is over. They have had their time. In that time, they have imperiled the life that they share. We have decided their time will end." The other aliens leave, and Michelle walks up to the flat Earth that is in the middle of the room, the representation we've been seeing as title screens through the movie, and she slowly uses a wand-like object to pierce and pop a bubble which is over the top of the Earth, which again was actually represented on the screens that you saw denoting the date throughout the movie. She looks sadly down at the planet, and we fade to a montage of clips that show all of the humans have died. We are shown all types of humans all around the world in all manners of life, jobs and activities, and that we all died in an instant. In one nod to her story earlier, we see museum goers laying dead under the fossils of dinosaurs, symbolic of the Andromedans accidentally killing those earlier on in history. We see that it doesn't matter if you were in slums, on a beach, on a boat, or at work, you are all gone. But here's what is important during this scene is that we see a dog, a cat, and a bird flying still all alive, letting us know that it's only the humans who have been exterminated. And then we are back in Teddy's garden, just like the beginning of the movie, and we watch as bees pollinate the flowers. And the movie ends. But what did this ending mean? Was she really an alien? And why did they wipe us out? What did the writer and the director say? And is this ending tragic, or is it something else entirely different? Here's everything you need to know, but first, now is a great time to like and subscribe if you didn't already, and join the movie club. Think of it like a book club for movies, so also let everyone know in the comments what you thought of Begonia. Begonia ends with this crazy twist that yes, Michelle really was an alien all along. Teddy was right, almost, about everything. But the twist goes even deeper. She's not just an Andromedan, she's actually the Emperor. She is the one who has the final say on if humans get to live. It's revealed that everything she said about the tests designed to remove the aggressive gene in the humans, the test on Teddy's mum, and everything else was in fact real. That those tests have failed, and she decides to pull the plug on humanity. It is not going on in Teddy's head. The end is not a hallucination or a dream of a dying man. It's the real deal. Michelle was an alien, and this has been confirmed by the writer and even the production designer. Her office is actually designed by James Price to resemble a spaceship to give you a clue to the twist being real. Another thing I noticed about Michelle is that her eyes seem to change color in different scenes. I don't know if it's just the lighting, but at the beginning they looked very, very blue, and in some of the scenes in the basement, those look pure green. Am I blind, or is that a different eye color? Let me know what you think in a comment. Talking about the ending, the director Yorgos Lanthimos said, "Some people say, oh, it's really dark and bleak, and other people find it very hopeful. In a sense, you don't take it literally. It's a film and nature survives. It kind of allows the hope of a second chance at everything restoring." He went on to say, "I think it says things about the viewer themselves, how they feel at the end. If it sticks in their head, maybe they think about it later and go, yeah, maybe it is hopeful, not that bleak actually." While the writer, Will Tracy, said that the ambiguity in the ending is not whether Michelle is an alien or whether Teddy is right or not. Will said it has a different kind of ambiguity baked into it in terms of whether you think it is fitting or unjust, a happy ending or a sad ending. So what did you think? Is the ending sad, tragic, or hopeful? Drop your answer in a comment below. It's worth noting that in the original movie from South Korea, the entire Earth is blown up, but in this adaptation they made a point to show the animals alive, which personally I think gives it a more hopeful and warm feeling, the start of an Earth without us.
How did Teddy know? How the fuck did he know? I think the motherfucker
Build a website you love
Hey,
with Wix.
check this shit out.
For your words,
Excuse me. Sorry.
But how did Teddy know, and what is Teddy even symbolic of? Teddy clearly represents online conspiracy theory culture and people with tunnel vision. Teddy represents this idea of people being warped by online theories and culture. Him and his cousin Don both represent how vulnerable people can fall victim to that in an unhealthy way. Teddy because of his abuse and the sickness of his mother, the suffering at the hands of Big Pharma, and Dom because of his neurodivergence that makes him vulnerable actually to people like Teddy manipulating him. This is shown all throughout the movie as Teddy continues to share his ideas with Dom, and we see him being brainwashed in real time. Even though all through the movie Don knows it's wrong, he's constantly asking Teddy to stop when he's hurting Michelle at different points in the movie, and that he's uncomfortable with everything that's happening. But because he loves his cousin and he believes him, he continues to go along with it until he pays the biggest price of all. We see all throughout the movie how Teddy has kind of been poisoned by the online sphere. When he's driving to work, he's listening to a podcast called Tinfoil Tales. He talks about starting his research by watching video essays and YouTubers who are talking about the same thing online. He's representative of the lost souls and the crazy conspiracy theories that exist online these days, and this is really hammered home by all of the title screens having the flat earth. It's also really worth noting that when Teddy is confronted by the confession of his abuser who is trying to apologize, he keeps saying, "It's fine, it's okay," and what he does is he reaches for something to change the subject and to move away from this tough and difficult subject matter, which clearly makes him uncomfortable. He picks up a book from the coffee table called Visions of Andromeda, and he hands it to the cop, his abuser, saying, "This will change your life." We literally see in this scene in real time how he turns away from a traumatic incident into the safety of studying bees and Andromeda, which to me says that his childhood and that trauma in particular plays a massive part as to why he is how he is, why he got tunnel vision and dove headfirst into these theories. The genius to the twist in this story is that he actually stumbled upon the right answer, almost. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. The blanks are filled in by Michelle during their conversations, but Teddy did indeed work out that Andromedans are real and walking among us. Jesse Plemons, who played Teddy, said this about it. Teddy says some things from an objective standpoint that you look at and think that's true. He then follows it up with something objectively bananas and insane. He went on to talk about how he plays Teddy as this person that has tunnel vision and how some people go through life like that, unable to accept that there are nuanced, complex truths to many things in the world. This is a massive theme for Teddy the character. In fact, I think it's entirely what he represents. He's a warning to how a lot of people live their life at the moment and interact with others online. It shows how people can become fascinated, intoxicated by these ideas, and even pass them on to people who look up to them, like Dom. But here's what's even more tragic about it. The tragic twist upon a twist is that Teddy had what he wanted all along, a conversation with the Emperor. He just didn't know it. He had kidnapped the Emperor herself and had her for 3 days plus, and could have convinced her that humans were worth more than they thought, that we were worth saving and not giving up on. But you might even say that Teddy actually caused the end of humanity. He behaved in such a way that it convinced the Emperor that humans were beyond saving, beyond the Andromedan's grace. And the second she gets back to her ship, she ends humanity. Most of their experiments had failed, but it's made a point of to say that they had 2 test subjects still running. She doesn't wait to see how these 2 tests go, she just pulls the plug. So the tragedy is that Teddy actually may have done the opposite of what he did. He at least has ended the world faster than it would have done. Go back to the convo where Michelle says, "I know you want there to be a master plan. You want the bees to be dying so it can be my fault. You don't have to think about the real reasons that species die." When she said, "Sometimes a species just winds down," intuiting the futility of the entire enterprise, it felt like a pointed finger at humanity. Because there is this overwhelming feeling that we've been winding down in recent years, that things have been getting worse. Our population rates are falling with fertility and falling birth rates. Have we as humans intuited that our enterprise is futile, and are we entering colony collapse? I absolutely loved the way that this movie brought all of these things into this world and this story without really looking down its nose at anyone.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps
it was never saying, look at these idiots for what they believed when they read it online or saw in a YouTube video. It was just part of the story, and it felt real, it felt human, it felt vulnerable, and there was really a beauty in that. No one can deny we live in some pretty interesting, sometimes unprecedented, and often scary times, and that we do have to start coming together. But whether there's any chance of that, or if it's more likely that some aliens will show up and actually do it for us, is up to us. And why is it called begonia? What does it mean? A begonia is a flower, but the title of this movie is spelled differently with bug in the title. Some believe this reflects Teddy's belief that Michelle is like an insect queen and the bee references. But begonia is also an ancient Greek ritual for generating bees from a cow's carcass or the body of an ox. The belief was that if you killed an ox without spilling any blood, bees would be generated. And the title tells you the ending of the film. The humans were wiped out without any bloodshed, so that Earth can heal. It generates the bees. And I think that is the message of us seeing the bees pollinating again after we're gone. In terms of a review, I've seen this movie twice now and I absolutely loved it. I think it's one of the best films of the year, and there are some Oscar-worthy performances in here. I would give Emma Stone her third for this. I don't think she'll get it because it's not quite as flashy as some of the other ones that she's done, but it is a brilliant performance, and Jesse Plemons absolutely deserves his first Oscar. And Aidan Delbus does a wonderful, wonderful job as Cousin Don in this, the neurodivergent cousin. For me, he was the heart of this, and the character that kind of anchored you into this with some feeling in what is an otherwise fairly cold story. We feel for Teddy, but it's an uncomfortable kind of feeling, and obviously Emma Stone as Michelle is playing a kind of odd, cold alien type, and without Don there, I don't think this comes together as well as it did. The story had me hooked from start to finish, it looks fantastic, and I would absolutely watch it again. How about you? What did you think of Begonia? And that is Begonia Explained. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, and...
Sorry, I had to get that out the way. Only because I've been wanting to kind of watch begonias, but I didn't know if I wanted to watch begonias. So, let's get this shit started. First, let me give myself like 5 minutes to wake the fuck up, because we're gonna watch a marathon of Spider-Man. What kind of Spider-Man?